This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There he is. You got like a blurred background.
Yeah, I actually wasn't ready and wasn't wearing the regular golf shirt, so I figured I'd go with the blurred background for now, but we can adjust need be, but
No, you're good. I was just kind of new. That's all. I'm just kind of
I wasn't fully in place, so I adjusted. I got to the computer. I saw you sent me the link for today. These holiday weeks are always a little bit sort of, a little bit different what day it's going to be. But we have things to talk about. We have issues to address. So I figured, hey, I got the time. Let's get going.
That's good, and I have no problem with that. And since there is some stuff to talk about, obviously. I thought last night Minnesota lost out on a hell of an opportunity. Ant-Man has to be special for them to, if you're going to beat SGA is special. That funky little side shot that he made last night, off balance. This kid is special, and so he's doing what he's supposed to do. What did he have, 40 last night or something?
He did, and Jalen Williams had a game, and it just showed you young, versatile talent that makes a difference. But you know what? Because I know, Big O, you always take me back to Bam and to relate to the Heat. This is a league about scoring, and we can talk about versatile defense, and we could talk about playmaking and being complete, and that's all well and good. You've got to have scoring. And Minnesota, I'm not a Julius Randle fan, but when he's scoring, they're a much better team. So I understand why you make a move for a player like that. I get the whole scoring thing. I'll take you back a day before that. I was never a big Karl Anthony Towns fan. Always felt he was somewhat soft. I thought Jimmy actually had some of that right. But he can score. And for all those years of the Knicks trying to play low scoring and Tibbs running guys into the ground, sometimes you need a Cat 40 burger or a 15-point fourth quarter to really pull you through at the end. And I just hope there's a lesson that the Heat look at these playoffs, and you can be all the hardest working, meanest, blah, 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 blah you want, but you've got to score the basketball. And if you look at moves that teams have made, Jalen Brunson's not a good defender. Tyrese Halliburton's not a good defender, but you win with those players because they consistently can put the ball in the basket. Pascal Siakam, they added the offense they needed. All season, people were questioning, the Pacers, they don't defend. They're going to get burned in the end. Well, they're defending fine, but they're scoring. And you could look at 3, 4, sometimes 5 people on the floor for them, and what they're doing, they have offense out there. Big O, we've got to move out of the Stone Age. We've got to get back to where it is, just like in football. You can want to run the ball and play in the mud and do all that. We saw with the Dolphins way too often. You have to score the ball. Right. If you have the deep threats, you have to get the ball to the deep threats, because Tyreek Hill running around and not getting the ball or taking short passes ain't going to cut it. The same thing with Waddle. Sports is more fun when you score. I think you'd agree with that. Sports is more fun when you play wide open. I hope that he takes that lesson this offseason.
Ira, I've told you on this segment already several times, this is why you have to adjust with the times, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Things are going to change in life. And I've said already for several years why Bam isn't a star, because a star in today's NBA must be able to impose their offensive will. Okay? In the 90s, Bam is a star, an absolute rock star in the 90s, because that was more his game. But because it's not in him to impose his offensive will, we end up with this. And then Tyler can score, but he can't impose it, because then they'll play defense on him and he'll slow down or he won't be the same. Special players, they're all going to get attention, but the special players find a way to score, and it has to be from inside of them, that they have to have that killer desire that you're not going to stop me. Or like Jimmy Butler, you're going to make me go to the line. You're going to make me go to the line. We're going to fall 7 times and we're going to get up 8, right?
Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, every game is going to give you 10 points from the foul line. He's going to bust his ass to get there. But the difference with Jimmy is Shai also can shoot and also can score. Look, your reference to the 80s. Let's face it. And I know this, I hope he's not listening. The only person I hope he's not listening right now, but Charles Oakley might be unplayable in today's NBA. God bless him for what he did and what he didn't offensive-wise. Bam can be sort of similar to what Marcus Camby was back in the day. And that was good enough. Score sometimes, defend all the time. That's not it anymore. So I even wrote today at the Sun Sentinel in my Ask Ira feature, Bam is at least an A-, an A defender. I get all that. But you've got to be at least a B+ scorer also in today's
God, yes.
Not a B-, not a C+. That's the difference for max money. Times have changed. It's kind of strange, but for all the greatness of Spo and Pat Riley and everyone, damn, this has been a really slow to adjust team. Yes. And you get people like the Don Shulas over the years who maybe didn't adjust to the times, maybe even a Jimmy Johnson during his Dolphins time, maybe even a Nick Saban during his Dolphins time. You have to adjust to the times a little bit more. And that's what the Heat need to do this offseason. You don't have to necessarily change leadership, but leadership has to change a little bit more. I think that's what matters as much as anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying to remove anybody. I'm just saying, guys, things have changed and you refuse to change. You just can't buy that free agent anymore. The only way they come available is if you have a bunch of picks and you have space, and you guys continue to fail to put yourselves in that position. So unfortunately now you have to go through the painful process of the only way you'll get into that position is by gutting your team, getting rid of the two guys that you thought were stars, get whatever picks there, and reset for the next couple of years. And I get it. It's going to suck. I get it, Mickey. Maybe the building won't be as full. Maybe the people won't be as pumped up. But, dude, you'll start to turn the corner and go in the direction that you need to go in. This way, we're Gus Ferrating the bitch. We're just running our heads into the wall, doing the same shit. Look, and this started several years ago when Riley shoved Whiteside right down Spo's throat. And once he did that, it was proving that he refused to adjust with what's going on. When Spo's trying to tell you, bro, did you see me what I just did in the Big Three era? It's positionless. Stop giving me a dude that's limited. And so now he had to deal with that. And then what did Riley say? Oh, no, you guys got to get along. You guys got to figure it out. No, dude, that guy doesn't fit. And now what does he say? Oh, they got to play better defense. Dude, that's not going to bail you out.
It's going to help, but it's not going to be the ultimate answer.
No, it's not in this league anymore. This is not a defensive league. Do you need to make stops? Yes. Yes, you got to stop bleeding. Yes, you got to stop runs. Of course, you got to stop at a play in a moment, in a 2-minute or whatever. Yeah, you got to have some defenders for that. But the days of locking teams down and keeping them down into the 90s and even to the low hundreds, that shit is over, bro. It's over.
And you know what, Big O? I'm going to give you example A. The Indiana Pacers, for a couple of years, everyone said the same thing. They can score, but they can't stop you. So it's not going to matter. And I think what we're learning right now, this is what's changed. The Heat used to try to take defensive players and make them scorers and make it work that way.
Right.
Now, what Rick Carlisle did in Indiana is he took scorers and he's making them defend. And he turned it the other way. You've seen some of these possessions against the Knicks. The Pacers defense has been fantastic. They're back to 5 men on a string. They're all playing together. They're getting it done. They're forcing 24-second violations. That might be the more doable way. I'll give you an example. A name that's out there right now, I don't know if you plan on bringing it up or not, but I'll bring it up anyways, DeMar DeRozan. Not a huge fan of him and what his mid-range shots. But if you can add his offense to this team and not give something up, go for it. Bring in a scorer. Now, I'm not saying to give up draft capital, give up young players or any of that, but go for the offense. If you're not sure of Niko Jovic as a defender, make him a defender. But he can move the ball. He can handle the ball. He can shoot the ball. He can give you more offense. Stop holding off from doing that. Take the chance. And you know what? The beauty of the NBA season is this. It's an 82-game season. You can get to where you want to be at the end by trying something else at the beginning. I would love to see the Heat come out of camp next season with more of an offensive bent, maybe hitting the offensive glass a little more, maybe giving up a little bit of their kind of BS defensive identity, because you know what, Big O? The Miami Heat finished 9th in defensive rating this season. And where did it get them?
Nothing.
The 10th best record in the Eastern Conference, the 20th best record in the NBA. So at what point, the definition of insanity, do you keep banging your head against the defensive wall and expect different results? We're going to win with defense. No, you're not going to win with defense. The Pacers score. The Knicks this year, even Eric Spoelstra said this, are an offensive team this year. Yes, they have OG Anunoby. Yes, they have Josh Hart. Yes, they have players who can defend. But Mikal Bridges also can score, and that matters also. So I would like to see, one, it'll be more fun. It'll be more entertaining, and maybe they could find that way. You know what? If even your Big O show, going back to on the end of the AM dial and wherever you were, if you did the same show right now that you did 30 years ago, you would be a dinosaur and you would be in trouble. You have to evolve. I would love to see the Heat get rid of their mottos. I would love to see the Heat go back to a small C with Heat culture. You keep hanging on to the past. You can still do it with the same people if the people, like you've seen, are able to pivot, are able to move on to the next thing, are able to adjust. We've seen some brilliant older minds in the game realize. Greg Popovich, during the Heat playoff series in 2011 through 14, kept talking about the three-point shot, and he hates it. And I remember he started his press conferences. What do we want, a 4-point shot, a 5-point shot? It's all a gimmick. And then his team started shooting threes. Why? Because you have to adjust to the game. That's where the game is gone. So you have to see that from your team also. I would love to see an epiphany from the Heat that's saying, hey, this is the talent we have. This is the draft choices we have. These are the options we have. But let's design a game that's not most blah, 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 this. Get rid of mottos, score the damn basketball, and work around that. And I think you're seeing it in the East Finals with the Knicks, offensive team, not your grandfather's or your dad's New York Knicks. Indiana Pacers, offense first. Rick Carlisle took care of the defense. I think it's a more fun way to win, and I think it gets you basically into the 2020s where you sort of need to be about now.
And listen, right now, your hope right now is that one of these other young cats turns into something special. You've got, the 16th pick in the draft? Is that correct?
He'd have the 20th pick in the draft.
The 20th pick in the draft. That's probably, I'm not saying that it's impossible. Sure, a superstar can come out of there, but it's rare for you to get that. So to me, the only sign that tells me that you're going to do that is if you trade one of those two guys or both of them. To me, that's the only way you've got.
And I'm going to give you a little bit less drastic.
You're not the answer.
And I get that. But if we have to take subtle steps, and last year's draft was interesting, and there have been others like this. You had a guy like Jared McCain who came out and went to the Sixers. He was injured early in the year, but he was a great scorer. At number 20, don't give me this, well, he might not defend and he might not rebound like we like. No, get the guy who can shoot the absolute crap out of the ball, work around the rest of it. A couple of years back, the Heat went for sides with Precious Achiuwa. I know Adam Simon hates me bringing this up. Bypass Tyrese Maxey, bypass Desmond Bane. Maybe at some point you get back to what you even did with Tyler Hero. Yes, he has alligator arms. He's not a defender, but he can score the ball. Because it's been Tyler Hero who's kept the Heat afloat during this Jimmy I don't give a crap time until he was moved. And here I think is the fault of the trade that they made for Jimmy Butler. They tried to get Jimmy 2.0 and Andrew Wiggins, and God bless him. And you know what, Big O? He's a nice two-way player.
But you knew that, Ira. He's not mentally wired like Jimmy.
No, I understand that. But I understand that. But he's also not mentally wired to be an MF scorer. Maybe in retrospect, you'd make a play for Kuminga, or you do the Durant trade when they had a chance with Jimmy and you get scoring. I think there really needs to be sort of a Miami Heat retreat and say, hey, God bless you, 9th place in scoring. We'll give you a lovely 9th place participation trophy. But we've got to be better than 21st on offense for two reasons.
Yes.
One, that's how you win. Two, it's kind of fun. So if we're going to be a 42-40 team or a 37-45 team, at least you might leave Kaseya Center and say, damn, that loss hurt. But man, that was fun when they were on that 15-0 run. I think they have to change that a little. I don't think they'll ever acknowledge or ever admit it. because we have too many pithy slogans. You can put that, matter of fact, when you do the accurate Pembroke Pines billboard, okay, and you have me retweet it, put up too many pithy slogans, because we have to really move away from that.
Yeah. No, I'm with it. Listen, by the way, I believe the Heat culture is alive and well and very healthy. The problem is their direction, their plan. That's the part that's kind of out of sorts. And if you go with what we're talking about here, you go find the offensive player, dude, your culture will make him a better defender. Are you going to make him, all of a sudden shut people down? No. But hell, Tim Hardaway got here and started sticking his hands in the middle of the passing lanes and getting some steals, and he would take some charges every once in a while. You'll start doing those kind of things because you've done it to other players.
Wade going for steals, blocking shots, most blocked shots from a player under 6'5" and probably under 6'3" also. That you can add to it.
Best team defender ever in Heat history. He's the best team defender, actually.
Right amongst up there. But exactly, the PJ Browns, God bless them, this isn't their time. This time has come and gone. The Anthony Masons, this time has come and gone. Honestly, I'm going to tell you something, and this might seem like sacrilege. I'm not sure Alonzo Mourning had enough offense to be as effective a two-way player in today's NBA, and God bless Zoe as one of the franchise cornerstones. So that's a bit of the difference right now. Even Khalil Ware last year, unless he develops more of an offensive game, unless he hits the three, you have another guy who can score. Stop throwing out all these guys in your lineup who cannot score. You have to have 5 live threats, like the Pacers do when they get Nesmith to score now and Siakam to score. Miles Turner hitting that midi. I don't care where the shot's coming from. He can score. That's the difference. You have to have a live offense. I totally agree. Hopefully they move in that direction. And you know what? They won't.
And by the way, that's the reason why I enjoy the WNBA so much. Because in the W, they play the inside-outside game. And it's still like kind of that basketball that I grew up with that I love. And so I appreciate the women's game more than ever because they're still post players. The post still matters, and they still play the inside-outside game. And I like that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the older elements of the NBA are completely alive and well in the WNBA. I find it really cool.
Well, and you saw the scoring. The scoring had been really up at one point, then came down sort of during the Riley. I mean, think about Pat Riley's career. Showtime Lakers, as good an offense as maybe we have ever seen. Yep. Grind and grit New York Knicks, as good as defense and fouling and other stuff as we've ever seen. And yet the rest of the league went back up. And the Heat are still leveling here, talking about we've been a top 10 defense for the last X amount of years, and it's been good for us. No, it really hasn't in the play-in years and what you've been required to do. And beyond that, it's not sexy and it's not scintillating. And the Heat's whole thing has been there's nothing more scintillating or sexy than a W. Well, no, I got to sit through 48 minutes of that. I'd kind of like to have fun on the ride as well.
Yeah, they have to understand that what you have, it's great. It's foundational. But it cannot be what is premier in your franchise, what is the elite part of your franchise. It has to be offense. Has to be offense. The days of defense leading it, those days are done, man. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
You know, what I'm talking about now is I proposed a couple of things. In my Sunday column, I said the one thing we're seeing is the depth of talent around the NBA. Indiana's depth, they have 8 quality players. Even Tom Thibodeau is forced to play deeper. The ultimate example is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they have really good guys. They can't even play. So if we're talking about a Heat having a problem at the top, that's all well and good. But they also have to develop a little bit more playable depth. And you and I have said this on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report. The Heat right now have a bunch of 8th and 9th men. That's all well and good, but you've got to have that 5th man, that 6th man, that 7th man. They've got to work a little bit more on their depth of talent. Other teams have found a way besides drafts, besides free agency, with the right trade for the right players. I mean, Aaron Nesmith's a perfect example. Right now in Indiana, you can find the right players if you aggressively go out and do your research and find a guy who's almost on the cusp and can make that move. So that's one thing. The other thing is, and you totally disagree with this, is I think if the Heat do take a gap year, with Tyler and Bam, I do think there's a way to at least add a little more offense, whether it's a DeRozan or Durant, to at least juice the product a little without having to give up too much of your future. But yeah, eventually there has to be a turn. You were the 10th place team in the East this year. You were the 20th place team in the NBA. That matters. That calls for major changes along the way. I agree with that.
It's really become the norm. That's who they are now because that's what your talent is. And that's the part that they just don't seem to want to understand, that the talent and the way you play is completely hurting you, and they've got to change that. All right.
And in my Ask Ira today, I even said, hey, like I mentioned, maybe we're not our biggest fan of him, but Karl Anthony Towns is a little bit more of what Bam Adebayo has to become. You've got to be able to offer a little bit more offense. So I addressed that in today's Ask Ira. And
sassy passing. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his fantastic work there like I do at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have a fantastic week.
And still, we might have given the wrong days. Let me give you two different opens. Hey, welcome everybody to Tuesday's Acura of Pembroke Pines Report. 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome everybody to Wednesday's Acura of Pembroke Pines Report. I'll get the dates right next week. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, my brother. Be good. Never a problem with Ira. He can come on anytime he wants. Doesn't matter. It's all good. We'll be prepared. We can do it. It's not a problem. 17th anniversary sale is going on at Acura Pembroke Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. And, folks, we still have 2024 ZDXs. I'm sorry, I was going to say RDX. My wife has her RDX. They have the RDX there, too. But the ZDX, yes, take advantage. These are pre-tariff vehicles. Okay? Got to be honest. If they're made in the U.S., you're going to get a break. But if they're not made in the U.S., and, a lot of companies nowadays have a lot of cars that are not made in the U.S., and then some are made in the U.S. That's kind of the way it goes. You really won't know. You're like, hey, isn't this this company? And don't they have – no, well, some of ours are over there and some are – so these are pre-tariff cars. So, take advantage right now. $439 a month, 0% financing for 72 months. Get electrified. Get on down there, 15601 Pines Boulevard. Go check out the RDX, which my wife drives every day for the last 15 years. That thing is an absolute tank. Okay. So the ZDX, the RDX, the ILX. I mean, come on, man. All right. A lot of great models. Tell them that Big O sent you. And the service center, second to none. Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber, great people. So you happen to own or lease an Acura, take it there. They'll take care of you. And again, mention my name. They will give you a little extra love at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.